People work 50 years and stay broke. I spoke in $77, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 appeared, my friends. Tonight, I invite you to journey beyond the limits of reason and into the limitless country of your own imagination. For too long, we have been told that the road to wealth is paved with sweat, with years of toil, with decades of labor that drain the body and dim the soul. We have been taught to believe that only after a lifetime of effort, 50 years or more, may we retire to a modest comfort if we are fortunate enough to hold on to health and breath. And yet, what has that belief given most people? It has left them weary, fearful, and still broke, waiting for a future that never comes. But I tell you, that is not the law of life. That is not the truth of who you are. You are not a creature of chance. You are a creator of circumstance. You are the Word made flesh, and your own spoken word, your inner speech, has the power to call forth a fortune. When I say I spoke and $77 million appeared, I am not boasting of an earthly bank account as if some magic trick were performed outside of you. I am telling you a truth of consciousness, that when the inner man accepts a state as real, the outer world bends itself to reflect it. Money is but a symbol, a shadow of the wealth of your own being. To speak with conviction is to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and when the assumption hardens into fact, the numbers may astonish you, but the law is simple. It is the same law that causes an acorn to become an oak, the same law that sends the tide rushing to the shore. It is imagination, clothed in faith. You may ask, but how can a word create millions? How can speech replace 50 years of toil? I say to you, every action in this world is first an imaginal act. Every skyscraper was once a dream in a mind. Every symphony first sounded in the silence of a composer's inner ear. The chair upon which you sit was first imagined. The shoes on your feet were once an idea. The merchant, the engineer, the artist, they each began with an unseen image, held with feeling, until it solidified. Why then do you believe that your own fortune must be bound to sweat and struggle? Why accept a world that tells you work hard and maybe you will have enough, when you are the one who gives that world its laws by your own assumption? I tell you, consciousness is the only reality. To change your life, you must change the state from which you think and speak. You must dare to claim the feeling of wealth, of freedom, of abundance, even while the senses scream of lack. Do not wait for evidence. Create the evidence. The outer world is a delayed reflection of your inner arrangement. If you are broke in imagination, you will labor long and remain broke. But if you are rich in imagination, if you dare to say within yourself, I am wealthy beyond measure, and if you feel it as true, the world will find the channels to deliver it. You need not plan the how. The law will arrange the means. Once, a friend came to me burdened with debt, believing that only endless overtime could save him. I told him to rest in the end, to sleep tonight in the consciousness of being prosperous. He protested, saying he had no proof that the bills on the table were real. But I asked him, are not your thoughts real? Is not the feeling of wealth more real than the paper you call a bill? He agreed to try. Within weeks, unexpected opportunities appeared, debts were cleared, and a position with double his former salary opened as if by chance. He thought it a miracle. I told him it was law. He had spoken inwardly with conviction, and the outer world obeyed. So too with the story of the 77 million. I recall one evening entering the silence and declaring with feeling, I am the steward of unimaginable wealth, free to use it for the good of all. I did not outline the details. I simply rested in the sensation of plenty. I spoke it inwardly as though it were already accomplished. In the days and months that followed, circumstances moved. A venture once thought lost was revived, forgotten investments multiplied, gifts came from quarters unimagined. The sum astonished the rational mind, but the inner man knew it was inevitable. For once a state is assumed and persisted in, it must externalize. Do not misunderstand. This is not to say that we sit idly and wish. The true work is inner action. It is the disciplined practice of living from the end. It is speaking the word of power from a place of absolute belief. This requires courage, for the senses will deny it. But remember, we walk by faith and not by sight. The world outside is but the mirror of your inner speech. Change your conversation with yourself, and you change your world. Most people speak poverty to themselves all day. I can't afford that. I'll never get ahead. Money is hard to come by. They do not realize they are writing the script of their lives. Their 50 years of labor merely enact the drama they have already rehearsed in imagination. Tonight, I urge you to take hold of your inner speech. Dare to say, I am wealthy now, I am free now, I am the owner of great abundance, and mean it. Let every thought and word support that claim. Feel the joy of it, the relief of it, the generosity of it. Walk as one who already possesses it. When doubt whispers, return to the state. When fear shouts, answer with your chosen word. Do this not once, but persistently, as a lover returning again and again to the beloved. In time, the outer world must bow. The secret is to identify yourself with the end you desire, not merely to hope for it. You must become it in consciousness. If you desire wealth, you must no longer think of yourself as striving for wealth, but as already wealthy. This shift is subtle but profound. It is the difference between pleading and claiming. Pleading says, I wish it were so. Claiming says, it is so. The first prolongs the wait. The second brings the manifestation. Let us not despise the symbols of money, but let us also not be enslaved by them. $77 million is but a number, a measure of energy in the realm of Caesar. The true treasure is the awakening to your own creative power, the discovery that you are the operant power. Once you know this, you are free, whether you hold a dollar or a fortune. You realize that wealth flows from within and cannot be lost, for you can create again and again. Consider the lilies of the field, how they toil not, neither do they spin. Yet Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. What is this but the law of assumption? The lily rests in the knowledge of its own being and unfolds in beauty. So too must you rest in the knowledge of your desired state. You need not fight, you need not plead, you simply be the wealth you seek, be the freedom you desire, be the love you long for, and the world will mirror it faithfully. Many will laugh and say, this is too simple, life is hard, we must be realistic. But realism, as the world calls it, is the greatest delusion. It is to worship the shadow and ignore the substance. The real is the unseen. The cause is invisible. The outer is but effect. To cling to appearances is to be forever a servant of chance. To master imagination is to be the master of destiny. Tonight, as you retire, close your eyes and speak your desire as though it were accomplished. Feel the thrill of it. If it is wealth, count the money in your mind. If it is freedom, feel the lightness of burden lifted. Hear the congratulations of friends. Let it be so vivid that when you open your eyes you are surprised to find it not yet visible. And then know that it is already done. Persist in that knowing, and you will be amazed at the speed and strange ways by which the world rearranges itself. Some will ask, must I work? Work may come, but it will be work you love, a joyful expression of your state, not a desperate toil to survive. Opportunities will arise naturally, inspired ideas will lead you. You may take action, but it will be effortless, flowing from the assumption already fulfilled. The action will feel like play. You will not grind for 50 years. You will move with the rhythm of your own creation. I tell you, nothing is impossible to the imagination. To limit yourself to what you see is to live in bondage. The 77 million is a symbol of the limitless. You may choose a different symbol: health, love, peace. But the law is the same. Speak it, feel it, live from it. Let the world catch up. Remember the words of Scripture. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The Word is the imagining, the inner speech, the assumption. You are the Word. When you speak inwardly with faith, you are God creating. There is no other creator. Stop looking to others, to governments, to economies. The power is within you. It always has been. So I stand before you and say again, people labor half a century and remain poor because they do not know who they are. They wait for the world to bless them while they curse themselves with words of lack. But you are different now. You have heard the truth. You can speak and millions will appear, not because money is magic, but because you are. The wealth is already yours. Claim it. As you leave this gathering, I ask you to remember only this: what you dare to assume, you will experience. Speak boldly, imagine lavishly, persist lovingly, and let the outer world reveal the riches of your inner kingdom. The 77 million is but a beginning. The true treasure is the awakened realization that you are the creator of your own life. Go now and live from that truth. And as you hold to this inner certainty, notice how subtle shifts begin to arise in the people and events around you. A casual conversation brings an introduction that opens an unexpected door. A passing thought suggests a course of action you had never considered, yet feels perfectly natural. The phone rings with news that seems almost too timely to be coincidence. These are not accidents. They are the outward echoes of the state you have claimed. Every particle of the universe rearranges itself to reflect the conviction you sustain. Your world is a mirror, and the image you polish within will unfailingly shine without. Allow yourself to dwell richly in the sensations of abundance, for imagination is not a dry mental exercise. It is a living, breathing experience. Feel the texture of crisp currency in your hand. Hear the hum of a prosperous life. Sense the spacious ease of financial freedom. The more vivid the inner scene, the more swiftly the outer follows. Do not chase signs. Let them chase you. The harvest comes when the seed is accepted, and the seed is your present assumption. If ever you find the old voice of doubt returning, greet it as a guest who has overstayed its welcome. Do not argue or plead. Simply turn again to your chosen state as a mother turns to her child. Remember that persistence, not struggle, is the key. The quiet insistence of faith will dissolve every appearance of lack. One imaginal act, revisited with love and certainty, is mightier than years of anxious effort. Continue to speak the inner word as though it were already fact, and the seeming impossible becomes inevitable. Let this practice become as natural as breathing. Morning and night, while walking, while resting, let your thoughts flow from the awareness of wealth and freedom. It is not something you force, it is something you are. Just as you do not strain to keep your heart beating, you need not strain to sustain the feeling of the wish fulfilled. It becomes your natural atmosphere, and from that atmosphere every action flows with ease. The law cares nothing for the size of your desire. Whether you imagine a single dollar or 77 million, the process is the same. There is no big or small in the realm of consciousness. There is only the question, do you believe? Will you dare to inhabit the reality you choose before the world gives you permission? Answer yes, and you will watch the world rearrange itself in ways so marvelous that you will laugh for sheer joy at the elegance of it all. And as you let that quiet certainty saturate your days, you will notice how even your smallest choices begin to reflect the abundance you have claimed. The way you walk through a store, the way you greet a stranger, the way you respond to an unexpected bill. Each action begins to carry the tone of someone who already owns the unseen fortune. This is not pretense. It is the natural expression of an inner reality. Others may sense a new confidence, a new calm, though they cannot name it. They will simply feel drawn to the radiance of one who knows. You may find yourself inspired to create, to share, to give, not from fear of lack, but from the overflowing sense that there is always more. Ideas will present themselves like ripe fruit ready to be picked. A letter long forgotten may suddenly remind you of an opportunity you once dismissed. A casual stroll may lead you to a meeting that sets an entire sequence in motion. These moments are not random. They are the world echoing the decree you have made within. If at times the outer scene seems to contradict your inner vision, treat it as a passing shadow. The senses show you yesterday's assumption. They cannot reveal the living present of your imagination. Do not chase after the shadow or attempt to fight it. Simply return to the felt reality of your desire fulfilled. Let that inner landscape be more vivid than the outer noise. In that silent acceptance, the outer must eventually yield. Even your perception of time begins to shift. What once felt like long, grinding years of waiting now feels fluid, responsive, quickened. Hours and days become allies instead of obstacles. Opportunities that once would have taken decades to mature may unfold in a single season, because the only real measure is the intensity of your acceptance. When you live from the end, you live outside the old clock. Continue, then, to nourish this state as a gardener tends a seed, not with anxious checking, but with quiet confidence. Each night, before sleep, slip once more into the feeling of already being the person who commands wealth beyond measure. Let the dream world carry it deeper into the subconscious, where it takes firm root. Each morning, awaken with a soft smile of recognition. It is already yours, and the outer scene is merely aligning to display it. And as the days stretch forward under this quiet mastery, you will observe how even the simplest encounters become infused with a sense of orchestration. A friend calls with news that seems to answer an unspoken wish. A random article catches your eye and offers the next perfect step. Funds that once trickled now flow as if a hidden reservoir has been tapped. These are not accidents. They are the natural consequences of a mind steadfast in its chosen state. Notice how your conversations transform as well. Where once you may have spoken of limitation or worry, you now speak with a calm expectancy. Your words carry the resonance of someone who lives in a vast, invisible abundance. You are no longer petitioning the world. You are declaring what already is. And those around you, even without understanding, respond to this subtle authority, offering assistance, presenting opportunities, reflecting the richness you have inwardly embraced. There is an ease that settles into your movements, an effortless grace in decision-making. You choose not from fear of loss, but from the certainty of endless supply. You might invest in a venture or give generously to a cause without hesitation, for you know that the well within cannot run dry. This freedom to act without the old tightness of anxiety is itself a sign of the state fulfilled. And the more you abide in this awareness, the more you realize that the outer symbols, money, property, recognition, are merely playful confirmations of an inner reality. They arrive, yes, and often in astonishing ways, but they no longer define you. The true wealth is the knowing, the unshakable understanding that you create by assumption, that you speak and it is done. Each moment reinforces that the outer world is a malleable canvas upon which the imagination paints with absolute authority. So you continue, not striving, not waiting, but simply being. The air seems charged with possibility. Ordinary moments glimmer with quiet miracles. You find yourself smiling for no reason other than the certainty that what you have spoken inwardly is alive and unfolding. And as you remain in this living awareness, life itself begins to feel like a gentle dialogue between your inner certainty and the outer stage that reflects it. Every scene you enter carries a quiet recognition, as though the world already knows the part it must play. A letter might arrive with a surprising offer. A neighbor might mention an idea that perfectly aligns with your unspoken intention. Each event, no matter how small, seems choreographed by the very state you nurture within. You notice how effortlessly you now interpret circumstances. What once looked like delay or obstacle appears instead as a graceful unfolding, a perfect sequence that leads inevitably to the manifestation of your desire. You no longer measure progress by the day or the week, for you sense that what you have claimed is timeless, already complete in the invisible realm. The outer simply catches up in its own way, in its own rhythm, which is always right on time. The language of your thoughts becomes richer, more resonant. You speak inwardly as one who commands, not as one who pleads. Each phrase you allow into your mind carries the vibration of completion. Even casual self-talk, those fleeting, half-formed sentences, begins to echo the certainty of abundance. And because inner speech is the shaping power, each quiet affirmation is a stroke of the master painter's brush upon the canvas of your world. From this space of quiet authority, opportunities seem to arise before the need is felt. Invitations, partnerships, sudden insights, these come like a natural breeze, asking nothing of you but recognition. You move toward them not with grasping urgency, but with an easy curiosity, as though stepping into a story you yourself have already written. With every passing moment, the distinction between imagination and so-called reality fades. You sense that the very air around you vibrates with the forms of your desire taking shape, that the unseen currents are alive with the wealth you have already welcomed. And so you walk forward, calmly certain, as the evidence of your spoken word begins to show itself in ways even more wondrous than you once conceived. And the more you live in this calm recognition, the more you feel the subtle companionship of your own creation. Streets you have walked 100 times seem to shine with a quiet invitation, as if every brick and leaf acknowledges the richness flowing from within you. Conversations drift toward the very subjects you have contemplated in silence. A chance remark from a stranger can sound like an answer to an unasked question, a reminder that the inner decree is steadily weaving its outer form. Your movements take on an almost musical rhythm. You find yourself pausing to notice details once overlooked. The pattern of light on a wall, the scent of evening air, because you sense that all of it participates in the tapestry of your desire. There is no separation between the mundane and the miraculous. Every detail, no matter how small, belongs to the story you have claimed. Ideas arrive with a clarity that needs no effort. They glide into your awareness as naturally as breath. A solution to a lingering problem presents itself while you sip tea. A vision of a new venture flashes before sleep. These inspirations feel less like work and more like gentle remembering, as if the path was always there, waiting for you to step upon it. Even the passage of time bends to this inner authority. What others call coincidence you now recognize as the law fulfilling itself with perfect precision. Meetings happen at the exact moment they are needed, not a day early or late. Resources assemble without frantic planning. You begin to trust this rhythm so completely that planning itself becomes lighter, more like play than strategy. And still the numbers, the symbols of wealth, continue to rise as natural expressions of the state you inhabit. They are not prizes won by struggle. They are the inevitable harvest of a seed long planted in the soil of imagination. The world keeps offering proof, and you receive it with gratitude, knowing it is only the echo of a truth that has already taken root in the unseen. And so, beloved friends, let these final moments settle deep into your heart. The fortune you seek is never outside you. It is the very life within you, eager to take form. The figures in your bank, the opportunities in your path, the people who appear at just the right time are nothing more than the reflection of the state you choose to embody. Speak the word of wealth, of freedom, of limitless supply, and remain faithful to that inner vision until it feels as natural as breathing. The world will continue to mirror your inner certainty with flawless precision, and every echo of abundance that arrives will remind you of the simple, unbreakable law. Imagination creates reality. Dare to claim your desire, live from its fulfillment, and know, without a flicker of doubt, that what you decree within will appear without. This is the power placed in your keeping. Use it boldly, use it lovingly, and watch life unveil its infinite riches before your very eyes. So let this truth settle in you like a final, ringing bell. You are the source, the cause, the unfailing wellspring of every blessing you will ever touch. The wealth, the timing, the seeming coincidences are only the mirror of the state you dare to occupy. Stand firm in the reality you have already claimed. Speak with the quiet authority of one who knows, and allow the world to reveal what you have accepted within. For when imagination is wedded to unwavering faith, the outer scene cannot help but obey. Walk now in that certainty, and watch the universe rush to display the fortune you have already spoken into being. And now you know, every quiet inspiration, every seamless unfolding, every surge of abundance is proof of the law at work, your law. The world is only echoing the state you dare to inhabit. Remain faithful to the inner vision, and let gratitude be your constant breath. Speak it, feel it, live it, for the riches of life are already yours. Step forward as the creator you are, and watch the universe reveal the wealth you have claimed within. Beloved friends, we stand at the quiet summit of this journey, a journey not across distance, but across awareness. You have heard how the smallest whisper of conviction within you bends the vast stage of the world, how the movements of people and events are nothing more than obedient echoes of the state you dare to inhabit. All the symbols of abundance, money, property, opportunity, are but reflections in the mirror of your own imagination. They carry no power of their own. The power has always been and will always remain in you. Look back over the path we have traced together. We began with the recognition that decades of labor cannot guarantee wealth, that half a century of toil can still leave a soul empty-handed if the inner conversation remains one of lack. We watched how inner speech writes the script of outer experience, how the word spoken in the silence of the heart calls forth fortunes that the rational mind cannot calculate. We have seen that $77 million is not a miracle of chance, but the natural harvest of a seed planted in the fertile soil of imagination. This is not fantasy. This is the law. Understand this clearly. You are not required to plead with circumstance, to bargain with chance, or to wait on the slow permission of the world. You are the operant power. You are the one who gives life to every event you will ever meet. The meetings, the coincidences, the sudden insights, the effortless flow of resources, all of these are simply the universe rearranging itself to honor the decree you have already spoken within. The seeming delays and detours are not obstacles but perfect timing, the rhythmic unfolding of a reality you have already claimed. From this night forward, guard your inner speech as you would guard a priceless treasure, for it is the very blueprint of your life. Speak only what you choose to see. Think only what you wish to live. When old doubts attempt to creep in, greet them as passing shadows and return at once to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Let gratitude become the language of your days, for gratitude seals the state and draws it swiftly into view. Remember, there is no small desire and no great desire in the realm of consciousness. Whether you imagine a single dollar or a fortune beyond measure, the principle is identical. Assume the feeling, persist in the knowing, and the outer world must conform. This is the unchanging law that underlies every miracle you have ever heard. So walk from this moment clothed in the certainty of your own creative power. Live as one who already possesses the abundance you seek. Speak with quiet authority, act with serene confidence, and allow the world to reveal the riches that are already yours. For when you dare to imagine boldly and remain faithful to that vision, the universe itself rushes to display the fortune you have spoken into being. Let the certainty of this truth settle into every corner of your being. The abundance you have envisioned is already alive within you. Every coincidence, every effortless opportunity, every unexpected flow of resources is simply the echo of the state you have dared to embody. The world cannot help but mirror the conviction you sustain. Hold fast to the inner word you have spoken. Guard it as a priceless treasure. When old thoughts of limitation try to intrude, remember they are only shadows of yesterday's belief and have no claim on the life you are creating now. Speak again from the end you desire. Feel it as reality. Let gratitude be the quiet heartbeat of every moment, for gratitude seals the vision and draws it near. Whether the outer sign arrives as $7 or 7 million, the principle is unchanging. Imagination creates reality. You are not a seeker of blessings. You are the source of them. Stand in that power. Walk as one who already holds the wealth, the freedom, the boundless possibility that once seemed distant. Go forward then, not as a dreamer waiting for proof, but as the living proof that the spoken word and steadfast imagination are the only true creators. Speak boldly, live faithfully, and watch as the universe rushes to display the fortune you have already claimed within.